Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lowe, JT, and friends. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lowe, JT, and friends.
Lisa, Lowe, JT, and friends. Y'all ready to cook up some conversation? Come on.
Kitchen talk.
Let's talk.
What happened to my picture?
I don't know, my brother. Are we scared?
No, not tonight. Oh, man. Oh, that's what it was. Let's see. There it is. Welcome to the Kitchen Talk, CTC.
Conversations that cook.
Yes, they do. And we got a good one tonight. Very good one. First off, got the welcome back Dr. Scott to the show. And we got the welcome Mrs. Kimberly Black, our community snitch. It looked like she's driving around in the city snitching as we talk. I can hear you. There you go. You in and out. You in and out.
I don't know why.
There you go.
That's better.
Yeah, way better. So, Ms. Black, I really want to start with you because literally I left one conversation. I had several great conversations today, but I just left one conversation, which was a community conversation on gun violence.
Oh, I wanted to be there, but I had to run a pot water organization, so I couldn't be there.
Oh, yeah. So I know that's something you wanted to talk about. So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
This thing is getting, well, you know, while I was sitting and listening to the panelists, a few of the community people said something that I said is so true. This is not a new issue.
It is not.
Yes, and it's not an issue that's just affecting Tallahassee. This is a nationwide issue, and we got to come up with some solutions. We're doing a lot of talking, but what are we doing to make a difference? What do you guys think?
Well, I think she's
doing nothing.
Ms. Black, I heard that part, the nothing. There ain't nobody doing nothing. Yeah. I think there's some efforts. I do think there's some efforts, but it's still a lot of bandage, right? Yeah. We're doing a lot of band-aids when we really need to really figure out how do we get to the root of the problem. What you got for me, Doc?
Well, I mean, you know, one of the things, because she's leaving something, you know, she said Pop Warner. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I think about is I remember when I used to coach Pop Warner, being able to have your hand in the community at that level, doing something to keep the kids busy, keep them occupied. Right. I think those are some things that we have to do as far as find ways to keep them active, find ways to put money in their hands, you know, so that they're not, you know, trying to find alternative ways to survive or whatever. So I think those are some of the things that we have to do. And so, you know, some of these things like, you know, like she's doing with the Pop Warner, you know, remember the community center over off of, over there, close to Pensacola Street. You guys used to be.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about, it's the youth center.
Yeah.
I'll come to me, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, you know, continuing to do things like that, you know, that give the students an outlet, to do things and keep them active. I think that's, those are steps in the right direction. We also got to understand too, Palmer Monroe. Thank
There
you
it
so
is.
much.
Palmer
That's
Monroe.
it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Technician came to help. Love it.
Yeah.
The Teen Center.
But I think, having those things, giving those students outlets, things like that, again, that's part of it's not the whole fix.
Right.
But that's some of the things that we have to do. We have to put more money in those communities and put more money to get those students involved in doing things to keep them active.
JT Plummer in the house. Look at that.
What's up, man?
So and you know what? It's really good. I'm happy that you showed up because our topic is on gun violence. And I know that you are a gun holder, right?
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
what's your thoughts on that in terms of, we had this blew me away because recently it was a student at a middle school who bought a gun to school with the bullet.
But I'm trying to figure out, why did that blow you away?
No, first I was like, oh, it's elementary. Then I was like, oh, middle school. Oh, it's just, I don't know. I think I've been in Tallahassee for a long time and I'm from Miami, Florida. And it's a different type of role between Tally and Miami. But you're right, Ms. Black. I should have been like, okay, but I'm not used to that here. That's not a normal thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I mean, I think you got to understand, last year, Tallahassee was ranked number 6 in the state of Florida for gun violence.
Yeah.
So again, this has been something that's been on the rise. I know we were voted the All-American City.
Right.
But this gun violence is something that's been on the rise for a while. I think one of the things too, and because you asked JT because he's a gun owner, but the gun is not the problem. It's the individuals. Individuals with the gun. One of the things in our community, we don't teach our kids about guns. Guns just remain taboo.
Right.
And so a lot of times we don't take them to the gun range. We don't teach them gun safety. Again, we got a gun, we keep it locked up and keep it here. It's almost like, it's almost like certain, how this growing up in certain things in the Black community, the parents just never talk to you about.
Right.
And you gotta find out about it some other way.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the things too, that, we have to educate our children more on guns, more on gun safety, more on those different things, as well as doing the other things to keep kids active and keep them engaged.
I agree. At the panel, I was sitting back. I just wanted to listen and observe. And one of the things I thought about was we need to develop a win-win situation, right? Where the city is winning because we're giving back to the community. And again, we're winning because we have less people with the guns. So putting back into those programs, developing new programs. We talk about STEM and all of these things during the school day, but what about in the evenings? What happens after the after school program? Because after that 6 o'clock, it's not that much for them to do. So they're out, riding around in those little scooters all around the city. It's like, what
y'all understand what the community gonna do, what the school's gonna do, what the politicians gonna do. My question is, what are the parents gonna do?
That's true.
Yeah.
We done talked about everybody else. What are the parents gonna do?
Nothing.
But it goes back to what you said, Dr. Scott. It comes back down to education. So, I had this conversation with my principal long ago when I was working at NIMS Middle School, Miss Pam Heyman. She said, there's one job, one career, one thing that you do not need a license for, and it's the most important job you're going to have in your life.
Being a parent.
Being a parent. There's no class, there's no training. You a parent now. So, we may need to even think about that. How do we put these programs in place to help not just the kids, but also the parents in terms of safety, in terms of, how to use your weapon? That's another piece, It's meant for protection, but if you don't know how to use it, somebody's going to get hurt.
But they're using it to hurt.
Right.
They know what they're how to use it, but they're using it to hurt.
Yeah, because they're using a gun as a tool to put fear, or they're using it because they're tired of being picked on. So it's a tool to exact revenge. They're using it in those different ways, and so it's so many different things that are continue to feed into what we're seeing today. You think about it, years ago, when we didn't have social media, someone could not like you and you would never know it.
No, I'm trying to tell you.
And the different people that are able to egg it on couldn't happen because it just didn't get to you the same way. So now with social media, someone can post something and other people who are not even involved with it can chime in and those different things, which leads to escalation a lot faster. So again, it's all these different things that are playing a part, and I like what they're saying with conflict resolution. So those are some of the things that we need to teach the kids. Some of those things that we need to teach the parents. So because you're dealing with this, the generation we're dealing with now, we're dealing with a generation where remember when I was growing up, the neighbors could whoop me. I couldn't get out of line. You're dealing with a generation where nobody can touch my child, nobody can say anything. And the thing is, they're not even there to say anything to their child.
Exactly.
But we make it hard though, because there's so many. When you talk about the village, you got to trust the village too. I got to trust the people who I'm allowing to discipline and provide guidance and provide support to my child. I gotta know who they are and give them that authority. Right now, we got people with so many issues. Yeah, you gave Uncle Jimmy the ability to discipline your child, but Uncle Jimmy got some mental issues, and we haven't addressed that, right? So now it escalates. So it's like we need the village, but we also need to check each other, check the situation. So I agree with you, Dr. Scott. That was how I grew up. If the neighbors saw me do something, they would literally tell my parents or tell me, hey, stop, and then tell my parents. And then I would get in double trouble.
Yeah, you getting two whoopings.
But those days are not the same, man. We got people who take it too far. They don't understand that it needs to be done in love, whether you're talking to the child or spanking, whatever it is, whatever discipline it is. And now we evolve too, where the way I discipline may not be the same way your household discipline.
Well, JT was gonna say something there. So
I think I was watching this video one time, and I know it was a few steps back. I was watching this video one time where this lady was talking about how the teachers were afraid of the superintendent. The superintendent was afraid of the teachers were afraid of the teachers, and the teachers are afraid of the parents, and the parents are afraid of the freaking kids.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, man. Where do we draw the line? Where do we gain that ground back to at least be able to? I wouldn't want our children to be afraid of us or be scared of us, but they gotta know at some point, like, yo, I'm still mom, I'm still dad. We got to. I'm gonna have to punch you in your throat at some point, but not really punching in your throat. I'm sorry, that was my Bernie Mac song. But at some point, they got to know, like, yo, I ain't the one to play with.
Right.
I listen. My mama is not a big woman, but one day this little lady jacked me up against the wall and my feet came off the ground. And I understand. I know she probably watching right now, but
Hey, mama.
Now I want to ask Ms. Black. Black's name Black, correct?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Right. Yeah, I want to ask you because I know when I was coaching Pop Warner, that plays such a major role in being able to speak into the lives of the kids as they get older.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking? What are some of the things that, just for example, like financially, are there some kids, that may benefit from playing Pop Warner, but their families are not able to afford the, whatever it costs?
There is a myth that Pop Warner is not affordable, and it is. There are many programs out there that help with registration fee assistance. Your time for your child should not be expensive because that's what it takes. It takes
Right.
the time to bring them to practice, the time to spend out there with them at practice, the time to bring them to a game. I found that like Dick's, they offer assistance that they don't promote. We started promoting it this year, and that's how I got a lot of my football players and cheerleaders. It is affordable. There's options. There are things out there. The most expensive thing that you're giving up is your time.
Yeah.
It is your time. And if you're not going to instill and put that time in them when they are younger,
right,
where they can appreciate it when they get older, they're not going to care.
Yeah.
So you're going back to parenting. It comes back down to
parenting.
parenting again, right?
We cannot keep expecting the government and local leaders to keep coming up with solutions for our household dysfunctions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's true. Yeah.
I do think that there is a shared responsibility in that, right? Because again, we want to have opportunities. We want to have I keep thinking about sports. It's not just about football or cheerleading. There's some other things that we can do, especially for those kids who don't play a specific sport.
But
right?
There's a lot of mentoring groups, and they're crying for help. They're crying for, hey, get your child involved. It's free. And there's a lot of 501c with good people, with good names. But parents, you got to want your child to be involved in something different than what you had involvement with as a parent in order to see something different. If you keep giving the same thing you got, that's what's going to happen.
You're right. I got to shout out to the Alpha Educational Leadership Program.
Of course.
Because not only because I'm an Alpha man, but I was actually the director for a number of years. And that's exactly what we did. The crazy part about all of this is I love seeing the end goal.
Yeah.
That student who, and that's why I brought that up, who's not, okay, I'm going into sports, but then they turn out, oh, I'm a banker. Oh, I'm working for this company. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I love to see that. And I think, again, we do need to, as a parent and as a community, we may need to do more to highlight these organizations, highlight the people that are doing the work that go unsung.
Yeah, and I think the thing is too, and you said it earlier, educating not just the kids and having programs for the kids, having programs for the parents, and one thing too is I want to help you, but it's hard for me to help you when you can't tell me what you need help with, where you need help at. When I coached, and I'm pretty sure you see the same thing. I picked up several kids. There'll be times where we would tell the parents, you can't leave your kid because if it starts raining, or storming, and we have to stop practice. The kids need to be able to get in the car and go if we have to cancel. There's been several times I'm standing outside my car because my car is full of kids because the parents are nowhere to be found. because the parents, some of the parents looked at it as a babysitting session.
Correct.
You know, 1 month where we can get them, you know, and then we had kids that, you know, I had coaches on the other teams, you know, the bigger teams or whatever, had going as far as Quincy to pick up kids. You know, you go to this spot, you go to that spot, and they're picking up kids and they're bringing them. So again, it goes back to, at the end of the day, some parents are really working and it's legitimate, but then there's some parents who, this is just, hey, look, it's just an excuse. Because we have to get in and try to get a better control over our kids. Not saying that, you know, as a parent, because I know you could be the best parent you could be. Your child still has a mind of their own, and those outside community influences are so powerful.
Yes, I say that all the time.
But I do believe that as a parent, you have the ability to put something in your child at a young age. You know, you could train them up the way they should go, and when they get old, they won't depart. You know, they'll go so far, but there's something that'll be on the inside of them to turn them back. You know.
Right. I don't know. You know, there's so much out there, but you said the key word, we got to get them early.
Early.
This year, our program, which normally the Alpha Leadership Program, which normally focuses on middle and high school students, where this year was going to be our first year going to working with elementary school students, because we found that it's hard for them to even get past elementary.
Yeah.
So we got to do better. We got to do more. And it's, again, we got to find out we got to tap into the source.
And we have to hold the individuals accountable.
Exactly.
To do better as well. You know, I can't, if I tell you, okay, tell me what you need, and you never tell me what you need, then I can't, because I'm just throwing stuff at you. And we're never really dealing with the problem, you know. So I think that's the thing too. So if we're going to help our communities, I mean, we got to catch the kids young, but we got to start with the parents. We got to start with, you know, work with the parents as well, because again, you're dealing with a generation now where a lot of them were kids and babies having babies, you know.
But we've been there. We've been there. We've been there.
That's why this issue is not a new issue.
Right.
It's an issue that we've been fighting and an issue that we've been working on. But it's, instead of getting to me finding solutions, we keep digging ourselves deeper into the problem. And that's what I was hearing tonight at the community event. You know, there was a lot of engagement in terms of talk, but how do we get to the solution? What are some of the things that we can do? You know, not 2 years from now, today. You know, how can we do things today to start making a change? And I think a lot of the things we talked about tonight are things we could implement, right? Like, okay, you own a gun, and that's another bigger issue in terms of gun regulation in this country, right? You own a gun, we need to know that you are registered. You're registered. The gun belongs to you, and you need to, again, just like driving a car. You know, I don't know why. For me to drive my car, I need to have a license.
And insurance.
And I got to take care of the car. I got to go in every year to do X, Y, and Z. If I own a weapon, I don't know why we can't do the same thing in terms of, because again, I believe that you should have the right to have protection.
And it's not like they don't
give you in time. So you need to have your weapon ready, but you need to be responsible.
Yeah.
With that, it's like driving a car. I need to be responsible.
Yeah.
And it's not like they don't offer classes. Like when you buy a gun, they got classes where you get your license. You know, they got a gun range. Yeah, okay. They got a gun range where you can actually go and shoot your gun out by the airport. Plus, you can go to the indoor range at over there off of Capitol Circle. I can honestly say I was fortunate enough to be raised by people that taught me about guns. My grandfather had guns, and I was learning how to shoot guns at an early age. But I was also safe about guns. My grandfather could tell. My grandfather had a shotgun by the back door because I was from the country. I can honestly say that. But the thing about it was, my grandfather would say, "Don't touch that." I knew and I knew why.
Yeah.
It could kill you.
Right. Think about this. Think about this. Kids that are trained to box and kung fu and karate are less likely to get in a regular fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it.
If we're gonna have guns, because see the thing is this, they always talk about taking guns out of the black community, while the other community keep guns.
They do. You got them.
Exactly.
So it's not about taking guns out of the black community. It's about teaching our community how to respect the gun. Those who are trained with them and understand them are less likely to use them out of the content or confines of how they're supposed to be used.
And that could be an initiative right there, teaching our young kids, teaching people, period, in our communities how to use, how to protect, how to, the ins and outs of respecting the firearm, using the firearm. Again, you said it earlier, we're so afraid.
Right. And if you think about this in the other communities, and we're talking about, I'm not talking about wealthy communities, I'm talking about low income white communities, they're teaching their kids how to use weapons, but they're also taking them hunting and those different things. And so instead of saying, making the weapons taboo and only a weapon, only something that's used to kill someone else when you get mad, we must teach them how to respect the gun and so forth and so on. And and then give them opportunities to go hunting and different things like that. And I think they would do it. So it's the number one thing.
I love he said, respect for human life. And that's where the hunting comes in, where you respect life, period.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You respect the life that you just took, whether it was a rabbit, a deer, or human life. Regardless of the situation, we got to respect. And they brought that up. We had a gun situation. Police shot the guy, and for whatever reason, they didn't respect the fact that this is a life that was taken. So the PR around it just went crazy because of that one word, respect. Instead of saying, hey, we were able to rectify the situation, things got out of hand, we had to use physical violence to stop this situation, they call it a win. Hey, it's a win. It's not a win because that person is somebody.
And it's not a game. And it's a human life. Killing a human life and taking a human life is not a game.
Correct. Correct. So, I think it's going back. That was a great comment. We got to teach that. I don't think our kids understand the value that's lost until it's too late, till the aftermath.
And what we have to understand is multifactorial. When you look at the psychology and the things that are bombarded into our minds, especially in our community. When you go to the level of the music, when you go to the level of the video games, when you go to the internet and everything you see, you know what I mean? If it ain't about the money, it's about the guns, the sex, the violence. So those are things that are being fed into our youth minds, into adult minds on a regular basis. And you got to understand this thing is real. That's why you see a whole lot of other things and not trying to get into different conversations. But there are certain things that if you notice, everywhere you turn, it's in every commercial now. It's every TV show got to have it in there. You follow what I'm saying?
Call it out. Yeah. Call it out. So, we don't get to talk. Yeah. What you think?
So because I'm talking about with the with the homosexuality, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's there, right there. We're being desensitized.
That's it. They want to desensitize so they put it everywhere, so it becomes common. So if you notice, you don't have white music talking about killing and
Oh, no.
all those different things
Oh, no.
in their neighborhoods.
You gotta, and you
They're
gotta
drinking. What'd you say, JT?
and you gotta think about it. It's just like somebody else said. Rappers will tell your kids to go sell drugs and kill each other, but send their kids to private school.
Right.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
But they're going to talk about what the white record producer would
Tell
buy,
them to. Yes.
and what they feel like the black community would buy. You know what I'm saying? Because in other words, the producer says, you think about this and just go back. There was a time where music had to be clean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Had to be clean. And all of a sudden, listen to these, I listen to Unsung and different things like that, right? And listen to some of them, and they'll tell you got to a point where a clean cut guy wasn't selling.
Yep.
The record producer was like, no, that's not it. So they were determining the way that the market started to go. You follow what I'm saying? We blame Ice Cube and NWA and Ice-T for those, but guess what? If the record companies wouldn't buy it and mass producing it, a lot of that stuff wouldn't get out.
Well, I don't know about that, because again, these guys were selling their story. They're selling the things that has happened to them.
No,
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
These guys were selling their stuff out of their cars before the record company.
Yeah, but again, what I'm saying is I'm not saying that they weren't selling it. Right. And I'm not saying that it wasn't in a particular area and they weren't selling their particular story. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you go to the large scale and the way the industry is now, the individuals, those in which are majority white individuals, are helping to push certain types of music in the community. Because again, it's about desensitization and it's also about controlling the mindset.
And that's the thing, though. We have the ability to not buy it. Yeah. We have the ability to turn it off.
It's easy to say.
It is easy to do. Turn it off, but we don't.
Okay.
We don't.
Right.
We play it. We jump to it. We like it, because it's something that Baby and them went through. So you're like,
Let this question. How is it easier for you to put this down?
Exactly.
The cell phone. I mean, listen. We as a human race, not as a black people, just as a human race, we have addictive personalities.
Exactly.
And so there's certain things that we become hooked on or addicted to as if we can't put it down. I mean, think about this. Listen, come on, man, listen. You gotta understand, they've done studies and they listen to young people and they say they don't like what they're seeing, but they can't put it down.
So the one of the things is, you're right. Just as much as we were desensitized to get it that way, we can also reprogram our minds to change it too. So that's the other thing. We are not enslaved to that one particular way. We can take back control.
Correct.
But we have to take, when you said the cell phone, you're right. It's not easy to put it down, but guess what? I can. I put it in a room, I lock it up. I don't have to touch it. I can program my mind to say, nope, I got other things to do.
But that's you. You can't speak for the whole. That's you.
That's a mature mindset.
Yeah. Everybody don't have that mindset.
So with the mindset that I'm hoping that we can gain is a growth mindset, not fix that, we stuck in here, we can't get out of it. No, there's a way to get out. We just got to be willing to find out. And you're right, that might be me right now. But I'm hoping others who hear this presentation that we talk to, outside of this conversation, to say, you know what? I could start to make that change. It's not going to come overnight, but I can start to say, okay, I'm going to make those steps.
JT got something, because I can see him. The wheels turning. What you thinking, JT?
No, I'm just listening, man. I'm just listening.
It's a big problem. That's why it's not an easy thing to answer. But we got, you know what? We got to go to the next topic.
Let me get that out. Come on.
We got to go to the next topic.
when you sit there and you talk about the music, man, and I sit there and I think about it, you know, back in the day, it was about uplifting people. Rappers uplifted everybody. Yeah, you had the NWAs and everything else. But you know what? And I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna tell you this. Do you know that MC Light, Queen Latifah, Roxanne Shante, they wouldn't even get a
Thank you.
record deal today?
Thank
You know
you.
why? Do you know
Thank
why?
you.
It's uplifting.
They uplifted the women and everybody. They uplifted the race.
Right. That's right.
And that's what
But
I'm
here it
talking
is. And
about.
JT, you're right. But again, it was the same race that supported it. We bought it. We bought into it. And it's the same thing. We got to say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say I'm not. But as soon as Little Baby come out with an album, we the first ones doing the shit.
I hear you, but man, listen, you got to understand, it's marketing 101, man.
It is.
It's
but
marketing.
Again, guys,
it's the power of suggestion.
It's the same thing like going to the store. You get to choose. It's some good marketing. But you get to choose what you need to buy, what you want to buy, what you need to buy. We are in the same situation. It just needs to come forth to say, okay, enough is enough. What we need is elevation. What we need is motivation, inspiration, right?
Well, I'm gonna say this, but what I guess my thing is this, and what you're saying is right. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. What I'm saying is this. When you have a young mind that's at an age of being a sponge, and I don't want to get too deep in this thing, but you got to understand there's an aspect of your mind that can't reject information.
Oh no, once you see it, you see it.
If there's certain thing that you keep hearing over and over, your subconscious mind can't reject it. Your conscious mind makes decisions whether I'm gonna act on this or not, but your subconscious mind can't reject it. As it's coming, it's just receiving it. And what it receives a lot more of, that's what's stored in there. Now, and again, not trying to get deep in the Bible, but the Bible says, guard your heart or your mind with all diligence, because out of it flow the issues of life. So the more that you put in your subconscious mind, the more at some point in time, this stuff is going to come out. And if this person gets this information at a young age, they don't know if it's them or not. And so people keep saying, you got to be yourself, be you. And they don't really know who they are.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? Transition, because that's a great point. The transition is into Black colleges. Right now, Black colleges are on the map. You know, that HBCU this, HBCU that, everybody supporting HBCUs. HBCUs are the ticket right now. And that's, again, going back to how we develop those minds, right? So from an early age, we need to start talking about the FAMUs, the Howards, I'm not going to say BCU, but right, the Alabama States. You know, we got to start talking about these schools early and start getting them to understand that that's what we're looking to do. It's, again, elevating your mind, figuring out who you are. And it's by going through these schools, through these places where people really start to identify who they are and who they want to become.
Yeah, and I would say this too, you know, because, you know, me being a former professor and assistant dean in the College of Pharmacy at FAMU, you know, one of the things too is we have to also, as the HBCU, remember who we are while we're there.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that, you know, that I would see a lot of times is we try to compete with PWIs on their playing field. We start trying to change so we can compete with them as to who they are, you know what I mean, versus acknowledging who we are, you know, and, you know, I just go back to the late, great Frederick Humphreys, and we had more national merit scholars than anybody. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
remember when Time Magazine voted us the #1 college, university in the nation, and the nation went crazy. So are you saying that FAMU is better than Howard? And then they started trying to back off of what they were saying because they were getting so much heat about that. But we had more national merit scholars, but we did it because we were true to who we are.
Right.
And I think, people got to understand when you go to an HBCU, it's not just about the education, which is great. It's also about the connections that you make, It's also about the people you meet on the way. I used to tell my students in my pharmacy farm class, if you graduate and you don't have a network, shame on you.
I agree. Yeah. Shame on you. I agree. 100%. But again, this is what the HBCU experience is about. It's about developing. It's about enhancing. And we're talking about the music. Man, bring your child and listen to the band play. I went to a game and heard Miles College.
Yeah.
Miles College play, and I'm like, wow, that's what I'm talking about. And they were close to my 100. They were close.
But I read an article some years back, and one of the things that they polled, minorities that went to PWIs as well as HBCU, and one of the things they pointed out was a person that went to an HBCU was more likely to find a mentor. Find somebody who will mentor them, who will care for them, so forth and so on. And one of the things, when you go to a PWI, you can find a mentor, but sometimes you'll find somebody with that savior complex. They want to be able to say they saved you versus someone who just mentored you and brought you up through the ranks. And so it's more likely to find a mentor out of HBCU than you would out of PWI.
Well, I think that's one of the things, again, as a student of Florida A&M University, and now as a employee of Florida A&M University, it's a sense of not just pride that I attended, but pride that I'm giving back.
Yeah.
And, a lot of the people who work there attended. Right? They went to, if it's not FAMU, it's Howard. If it's not Howard, it's Morehouse. They went to an HBCU, and then now they understand, like, hey, I'm giving back because this same type of culture gave back to me. So again, going back to, how can we do more and change more? We got to, I agree with you. We got to have more access. We got to go back to why we started so that we can give some of these students who may not have did not have the right start in their educational experience to at least get a good start at FAMU to become who they potentially can become, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta have our engineer play this video right quick because this is some real trash talking, man. But I gotta have our engineer play this video. We getting close to homecoming season. Some schools already celebrated their homecoming, but as we know, there's nothing like a FAMU homecoming. So our engineer's gonna play this. I don't know if you guys seen this one. This is Will Packard getting ready for the homecoming festivities.
Yeah, I've seen that. I love that video.
Oh, I can't hear it. We can't hear it.
Beside.
Oh, I'm hoping we can get it right so that we can hear it and see it.
Yeah.
This one is a good one. This is
one thing, and I love my HBCUs, period. And I understand that an HBCU isn't for everybody. It's not. You know what I mean? Nope. But one of the things that, I used to talk to students about when I would go recruit, because sometimes they'll go to other schools and they'll tell you, well, if you go to an HBCU, you're not going to have diversity, right? Like if you go
incorrect.
But that's like if you go to a PWI, like they have diversity.
Correct.
When it's majority of them. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So in other words, they'll sell you on basically you got to be around a bunch of the white folks in order to have culture and diversity. You can't be around those predominantly black, which is so not true.
It's not
and
true.
when you look at the fact that we have people from over 70 different nations at Florida A&M University.
Correct.
We have so many different cultures there, so many races there. And so when you look at, you see that thing. But anyway, here go the video. Let's watch the video.
This homecoming at Florida A&M University is going to be an historic occasion. Historic. Oh, no. Not right now. I'll hit you back. Okay. At homecoming this year, we are going to have an amazing time. We're going to do it safely, but Terrence J, I told you, I'm going to hit you. Hey, what up, brother?
Bro, I know you didn't just decline my call.
Hey, no, I was about to hit you.
Whatever, man. I heard you and your people from FAMU are trying to raise some money. You still
Okay.
owe me money from Think Like a Man too.
I don't owe you money. We've talked about this.
Talk about that later.
If Nick Cannon was available, you wouldn't have been in Think 2, but he was picking up his kids.
Come on, man. Look, when it comes to fundraising, you know you got to talk to somebody from A&T.
A&T.
We need to talk ASAP.
I get it. A&T, G-Ho, it's a lot of abbreviations. Point is, this is about FAMU. All right, brother. Hey, you know what? Let me hit you back.
Hey, yo, Will.
Envy?
FAMU is cool and all, but you know we do this at Hampton University. We call it the real HU.
First of all, when you start talking about real HU, you piss off them Howard people. So I don't want
Hampton.
Taraji?
Are you talking about the fake HU? Everybody knows that the alumni of the illustrious Howard University will raise the most money. HU, you know? Come on, Envy, get out of here with all of that. Get out of here with you talking.
Hey, yo, that's right.
This
This
is
is
about
about
FAMU.
When it comes to HBCUs, there's Howard University, and there's everybody else. HU, you know?
Why are you so hype? Yeah. Diddy, you got an honorary degree. Okay, don't do that. You doing that.
You know what time it is. HU in the house, baby. Go back up.
Sam? Okay, don't cuss. If you don't cuss, I can use this in the video.
What you doing, man? One HBCU that matters. The house. Nobody's gonna raise more money than we do. HU, you know?
No offense, but it's not about y'all. You know what it's about? It's about the Florida A&M University Rattlers. Stand up and get ready. This homecoming will be one for the record books. We're launching an historic fundraising campaign. I'm kicking off myself. I'm putting my money where my heart and my soul is. I've already made a major donation in order to build the brand new Student Performing Arts Amphitheater, which we will officially open Friday, October 29th of homecoming this year. Whether you're there in person or virtually, it doesn't matter. We need you and we need you big. Don't just take my word for it.
Congratulations, Will. Congratulations.
Congratulations on the amphitheater.
I didn't go to college, okay? I went to something called the School of Life.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on the building. You got all this money for a theater, but never casted me in the movie. And Will Packer is that dude. FAMU should be very proud to have that brother supporting the university the way that he does.
I'm so sorry, Will. I don't know who sent that video.
Thank you so much, Will Packer, for everything you do.
I went to community college for 2 days. That didn't work out.
Congratulations on the new amphitheater.
For the number one HBCU.
The one and only FAMU.
First tape is coming to the house, coming to FAMU, okay?
But only one Rattler is delivering the convocation speech at FAMU homecoming, and that's me, Roy, with junior class of 2001. It was supposed to be class of 2000, but some things happened.
I'ma show up. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna show out. Live, October 29th. I'll see you then. I'm gonna come down there. Shoot up. See you soon, Packer.
Listen, I love it. I love the trash talk. I love all of that. That's what makes the HBCU experience special.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a real community. So no
Yeah.
matter what school you've gone to, there's a sense of pride that, you know what, this is my community. We just talked about culture. There's culture just being in my community. We got a lot of culture, right? So we can't negate that. So I give respect, to all of the schools because it's not easy. Right. It's not easy to have these institutions and keep these institutions. There's an article that Lisa has sent me earlier this week with Mr. James. I got to get his name again, but he's trying to open back Wesley University in Michigan. So he's trying to open back up the only HBCU in Michigan. It was closed down. So he has a line item with the state to bring the university back as a business design university. I thought that was like amazing, Mr. Dwayne Edwards. And he's trying to bring back what's the name of the Lewis College of Business.
Okay.
He's trying to bring back Lewis College of Business. It was closed. And that's not the only one that has been closed over the years, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about the issues that we have in our community, it's because of lack of access. It's because of lack of schools like a FAMU, like a Howard, like a Morehouse. You know, we need more of those.
One thing I would say too, when you start talking about access and so forth and so on, you know, one of the things, like for example, in the state of Florida, you know, the state of Florida also starts putting pressure on you for you to change, change admission requirements, change those types of things as well. So it goes back to getting to the students at an earlier age so that they can meet the standards and requirements. Because at the end of the day, we still got to have students graduate on time. You know, right now they used to go by 6-year graduation rates. Now they don't go by 6-year graduation rates. It's based off of 4
years.
So now if you don't meet that graduation rate, you know, and so you got certain performance measures that you have to meet. And if we don't meet those performance measures, then they start, you know, affecting your money. And everybody knows a hit, let's say a $10 million cut at FAMU is not the same $10 million cut at FSU. It's not the same. Of
course. Correct.
You know? Correct. And so one of the things that we have to do too, because we have such great alumni, but we have to remind our alumni, don't wait for us to get in trouble for you to give. Don't wait for it to be a rallying cry and then you come out. No, we need you involved at all times. We need you, you know, I tell, you know, alumni, they say, Dr. Scott, what can we do? Come by. Walk through the halls, you know, let people see you, talk with them, you know, those things as well as give. You know,
I tell people it don't even have to be the $1 million gift like other celebrities give. You could give $100. You'll be surprised how far that can go at an HBCU, right?
Yeah. And one of the things that, you know, with my, you know, I've gone all over the United States to some degree, not everywhere, but I've gone a lot of places recruiting, and I've seen students from other colleges and I've seen students from HBCUs. And one thing I can tell you is alumni from HBCU has a stronger connection with an alumni from PWI. That's my homeboy Primus Moore, give on a consistent basis. You know, that's one thing, that there's a greater connection. We feel a greater sense of family than, because we're more connected to the university than a football team, or you know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know, they might love their university, but it's about the football team or whatever. You know, we're more connected to the university. But saying all that to say, out of all the places I've gone and all the alumni that I met, it's something about a FAMU Rattler. You know, we're a FAMU lead. It's just something about a FAMU Rattler. And everywhere I go, oh, y'all Rattlers think y'all all that, right?
We are.
We are.
But you know
and
what?
I'm glad y'all recognize it.
Are too. And that's what we got to remember. They are special. HBCUs are special. We're needed. We're the gateway to a lot of the issues that we talked about tonight. Gun violence, solved by education, solved by upward mobility, right? Solved by saying, hey, I don't have to sell drugs or do X, Y, and Z or keep a gun because somebody's going to hurt me or take away my money. I'm putting myself and my family in a better position because of the education I've received.
Right. One cool Rattler asks a question: what is the 4-year graduation rate at a HBCU versus a PWI? It varies. It varies. Now, what I will say, in some situations, out of PWI, not all, but some are higher, because we a lot of times look at it this way, right? 80 to 85% of the students that go to FAMU or an HBCU, but I know at FAMU have to receive some type of financial aid.
That's correct.
Whereas at a PWI, a lot of your PWIs, that number's flipped.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not uncommon for students who need financial assistance who have to work extra jobs. Those students don't graduate at the same rate as students who don't have that same level of income or preparation.
And
So,
support.
And support.
Because you have a lot of the students who are at a HBCU and it's mama and grandmama who sent them there.
Yeah.
Or just single parent dad. And they're there because of, hey, I went there, right? And it's not easy. Whereas at a PWI, you may not have that. 2-family household, we make good enough money to keep that child and support and practices and what they call tutors and all that, to prepare them for that process.
Yeah. So one crew rep said they had to work 2 jobs while at FAMU. So and that's a testament to students needing a great number of aid. Yes, ma'am.
I worked 2 jobs. Had 2 children. Walked to class.
Come on now.
My 2 children in tow. So I'm the first out of everybody on both sides. No, not my dad's side. On my grandmother's side, I'm the first to go to college and graduate. The first. And to make it so bad, when you say educate, graduated from high school with a high over like at the 3.5 GPA or better. Because I'm a first generational college student and my folks knew nothing. Guess what? I knew nothing.
Right.
I knew nothing because I went to a predominantly uppity white high school. They taught me.
Yeah.
But I had to reverse and flip it because I had that much determination to do better. I had to reverse and flip it even with my kids. So it's not like if kids these days, you provide them with the knowledge. What they do with what you provide them with, it's on them. You can just keep instilling. I don't look for excuses when they say I couldn't. Yes, everybody operates different. Everybody come from a different environment. Everybody's mindset is different. It's not as strong as, but when you are determined to do different, you find a way.
Yeah. I was thinking, when I was in high school, I had a good GPA, but no one ever talked to me about going to school, and no one in my immediate family went to college at that time. So I didn't know anything. About going to school. I just knew I wasn't gonna stay in Fort Pierce and go to the Orange Grove no more. But Miss Gloria Thompson, one of my high school teachers.
There's always one.
Listen, she was a FAMU graduate, and she asked me, she's like, Marvin, what school you going to? I said, I don't know. She said, you going to FAMU? She said, you like math? I said, yes, ma'am. You like science? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, you're going to major in pharmacy. The next day, that lady had me an application, and she helped me fill it out.
Wow.
That's a FAMU rattler for you.
That's correct. And there's so many stories like that because, again, the focus, even when I was in school, was not HBCUs. Right. The focus was PWIs, these big schools. You want to go here. My counselor did not talk about HBCUs. My friend's mom was the one who introduced me to FAMU. Mind you, I'm from Miami, and there's an HBCU in Miami. And I did not know about the school, what they did, none of that.
Right.
Now that the HBCU is in the limelight, we need to keep that going. We need to keep it pushing because, again, it is a gateway for our community.
Right. And like one crew rattler said, when they put it up there was, I wouldn't trade my experience with FAMU for nothing in the world.
Right.
Nothing
I mean, the good, the bad, and the
And
ugly.
the
I
ugly.
mean, I've cried. You know,
The
and I ain't talking
ugly
about just
one.
no pretty cry. I snot cried. You know, stuff ain't being right in financial aid line. But guess what? I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world.
Nothing. Nothing.
I love my family. I love my. You know what I'm saying?
I
I love
love
it.
it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Again, this is homecoming. We got two more weeks before homecoming week, but already that spirit is there. So we want to, celebrate that. We got a couple of things that are happening. We have one of our guests who's been on the show who has an event coming up. There it is.
That
Chef
is.
Shack is
Chef
doing
Shack.
the homecoming brunch. Listen. If you ever had Chef Shack's food, you going back.
Come on now.
You are going back. And that's just
Mhm.
one of the many, events that are happening. But it brings back a sense of community.
Yeah.
When you see old friends and old faces and people come back, not just to come and walk the halls, as you stated, Dr. Scott, they also come back to give, right?
Yeah.
Why should I give? Why is this important? Let me see where my money's going. If I'm a continuous giver, right? Let me see where my money's going.
Yeah, so I'll just do this right here because I know we're looking at time. But if you know anybody who's gone to a HBCU or I mean, come on, let's give a shout out to all of our HBCUs.
All of them.
Because a lot of times they've done so many things in our community,
Yep.
over the years to help us as a people continue to push and move forward. So let's shout out our HBCUs. And that's right. I have a great friend I met at FAMU. Yeah, me and old Prime. So and again, and that's just an example of the network. I Prime was coming out of the Army, and I was coming in as a freshman, and I mean we linked up, and I mean that's my boy. You know what I mean? And my roommate, but one of my best friends, Hugh Pinto, he's in Orlando. I'm the godfather to his kids. I was his best man at his wedding. I tell my sons all the time, look, you have a good time in high school, but when the friends you meet in college,
Lifelong.
It's just, yeah.
Florida Memorial, there it is.
There
Edward
was
Water
Flomo
State, there it
and
is.
Edward
There
Waters.
it is. Listen, I lived in Miami. I was like, oh, there's an HBCU down here. Lomo.
Yeah. Now,
Florida
let me tell you
Memorial.
something. I went to my niece Demita's graduation at Edward Waters. It was a church service.
Yes.
Oh,
When I went there to visit for the first time, I'm like, hold up, this is a church.
Yeah.
And a community center.
Edward Waters University now. That's right.
Hey, we got to step up our game. BCC was, the college, but then they stepped it up. BCU
University, yeah.
Again, just as our institutions are stepping up, we got to step up. We got to get the word out that this is our gate. This is the key. This is the key. We got to start educating ourselves. As I said earlier, it's about reprogramming and rethinking things, not a fixed mindset that this is all I have and this is all I'm going to be. It's a growth mindset that I can change from this experience. I can become what it is I want to become.
Yes.
But again, this topic is going to be one that we could talk about for days and argue back and forth, figuring out what the solution is. I think, again, we got to go back and say, okay, what are we going to do today?
Yeah. And the same way that we, say we need to train them at a young age to understand and respect guns, is the same way that we need to train them and introduce them to HBCUs.
Correct.
So that, so that they can have a true choice as to where they want to go. I'll say this and then I'm done. Right now, when you talk to this younger generation, it's really about, it's not about what do you like to do. It's about, I got to make some money.
Yes.
So everybody want to be a YouTube star, TikTok, whatever, and so they can try to make some money. But they really need to be able to identify certain things they like, and there's nothing wrong with going to school. A lot of people want to paint college as, oh, you're going to go to college to get in debt. But I look at it as, listen, man, the relationships that you make, the brothers and sisters that you meet in college, it's nothing like it. And whatever money I paid to go to school, it was worth it, and I got back out of life that and so much more.
So much more. And there's so, again, like Ms. Black was saying for the Pop Warner, there's so much opportunities to help you get through, right? You don't got to be the richest. You just have to have the determination, the dedication, and the discipline. And they will find a way. They will find a way. You got the talent, they're going to find a way to get you right. Anyways, tonight was a great conversation. We're going to do this again next Thursday night. Same time, same place. Please follow us. And first, let me say thank you for following us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and definitely on YouTube. So go ahead, like that button. We had stopped our campaign, but the campaign is actually still going. We still want to build that viewer base because we need more people to hear this conversation, right? And talk about these things. So this is our platform to do it so that we can start making change today. One conversation at a time, figuring out one solution at a time. So again, Kitchen Talk, CTC.
Conversations that
and we cooked it up. We cooked it up. It's always good to see you guys. We got to give a shout out to our technician, sending love to Miss Lisa, sending love to, you know, all the people who continue to push and help make this show what it is. Thank you to all the people who share their comments on here tonight. They always add value to our conversation. So we can't wait to see you next week at 9 o'clock. Guys, have a great weekend.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right now.